In this video tutorial, we're going to revisit drawing a face and getting the facial features in the right position. We're going to start by drawing a circle. This is going to be the cranium. We're going to bring a line down from that circle, and then we're going to decide on the lines for the chin or the cheeks of the face. You have to just look at the person that you're drawing or your photo reference. The next thing we're going to do is decide where our facial features need to be. We're going to draw a line for the eyes, and that's going to be in the center of your head, so halfway between the top of your head and the bottom of your chin are your eyes. Then halfway or midway between the eye line and the chin is where your nose is going to end up. And then moving on down, your mouth is going to actually be halfway between your nose and your chin. So now that we've got a good idea where our facial features are going to be, I always like to start with the eyes, so we'll start with the eyes here. You want to be careful that you make your eyes the right size. Part of this is going to be taking a look at your photo reference or taking a look at the person that you're drawing. You want to be careful that you don't make the eyes too big. A good rule of thumb here is just kind of, if you can fit about 5 eyes on the eye line, you're doing pretty good. It's really about 4.5 eyes. If you can fit more than that, then you've probably made the eyes too small. And conversely, if you can only fit about 3 of your eyes on there, you've made them really too large. So we're going to go ahead and figure out where the eyes are, and I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit of value to the inside of those eyes and leave a little bit of a space for a highlight. Since this drawing is more about just getting the facial features, I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time with the eyes. Now, before we go to the nose, the edges of the nose pretty much line up with the inside of the eyes. Now, some people's noses are a little wider and they might go outside of that. Some people's noses are a little bit smaller and they might fall inside of those lines. But that's a good place to start to help you figure out where your nose needs to be and how wide your nose needs to be. Then I'm going to quickly draw the nose, and I'm going to add just a little bit of value. Now we're ready to move down to the mouth, and I'm just going to kind of make a mashed M, and I'm going to look at the pupils and kind of line up the outside of the the inside of the pupils with the corners of my mouth. Now it's actually just a little bit inside of that. I'm going to make my top lip a little bit darker because the light source is generally coming down from above, so that'll make your top lip a little bit darker. I'm going to quickly add some eyebrows. And just to remind you, this video really isn't about drawing the individual features. It's more about getting the facial features on the face correct. So I'm drawing really quickly and not really spending a whole lot of time with the eyebrows and the eyes and the noses and so on. I am still going to add a little bit of shading, a little bit of value, just to indicate a light source. So our light is coming from above, so we're going to have a little bit of shadowing around the sides of the nose and underneath the nose, as well as around the eyes just a bit. Now we're ready to start thinking about the ears, and I like to use my eye line as a guide for the top portion of the ear, and my nose line as a good guideline for the bottom portion of the ear. If you get those lined up, you'll have a pretty good chance of getting the right size for your ears. And I'm going to go ahead and start adding just a little bit of hair. Just keep in mind that the hair comes off the top of the head. You'll see that in just a moment. And I'm going to add some indication of the neck. Now your neck kind of actually starts from the bottom portion of your ear. If the person that you're drawing is a little bit thinner, that line for the edge of the neck will come in just a little bit. For some people though, it drops straight down. If the person that you're drawing is a little bit heavier or a little bit more muscular, I'll add just a little bit of value underneath the bottom of the lip too, to make the lip look like it sticks out just a bit. We'll define the jaw just a bit with a little bit of value and shading. A little bit of shading inside of the ear as well. Alright, now I'm going to start making some lines to indicate the hair. And I'm going to drop the front part of the hair down just a little bit, and I'm going to start by drawing an outline of the hair. And the person that I'm drawing in this case kind of has some wild, unkept hair. And we want to let the hair come off the head just a bit so you can see our original line for our cranium. The top portion of the hair does lift off just a little bit. If you start drawing the hair right on that line, it's going to look like the hair's kind of stuck to the person's head. It'll look a little strange. So just about every hair type comes off just a little bit. Bring it around on the other side, and again I'll use a portion of my eye line and my nose line as a guide for my ear. In this case, this guy's ear on this side is covered a little bit by the hair. And again, the neck line on the other side. Add a little bit of shading down there. And a little indication of the jawline. And just about everybody I've met has two eyebrows, so we'll add an eyebrow on the other side as well. Alright, now for the hairline on the other side. Again, I'm just paying attention to my photo reference. I'm drawing the lines that I see, kind of in the direction that the hair might grow. A little bit of shading and value underneath the neck, make the head look like it's protruding just a bit. You also want to add a little bit of value and shading to the entire face. Leave a couple areas for highlight, but just about everywhere needs to have a little bit of your material placed on it. There should be just a bit of shadow underneath the hairline, so make sure that you make it a little bit darker underneath the hairline as well. Alright, now I'm going to start adding some darkness, some darker shades to the hair. And the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to make lines in the direction that the hair is growing. That'll give us the illusion of hair without having to take the time to draw every single strand of hair. So you can make really bold, long lines in this case. And you can leave a couple areas where they're kind of mid-tones. That'll give the hair some volume, make it look like it is actually a three-dimensional mass of hair. And in the photo reference I'm using, this guy really has some messed up hair. So I'm going to have lots of lines going in different directions to kind of indicate that in my drawing. Most of the portraits that I do, It seems that I spend more time on the hair than any other feature. That's because hair is really pretty complex, and in order to make it look realistic, it does take a bit of time. Clean it up just a bit with an eraser. Now I'm going to add just a bit of a collar down here at the bottom, just so our head doesn't look like it's totally floating out in space. And this is just kind of a collar of a t-shirt here. We'll give it a little bit of texture and just a little bit of shading on the inside. I'll also go ahead and add a little bit of shadow underneath the chin, a little bit more. That'll give a little bit more definition to our neck as well and make the face protrude. So this pretty much brings us to the end. Just to recap, your eye line is in the middle of your head. Your nose line is in the middle of your eye line and your chin. And then your nose line is in between the nose line and the chin. If you keep those things in mind, you'll go far in getting your proportions correct when you do a portrait drawing.